So next, we're going to move into a piece of the program that's very important to all of us at CII, and certainly, I think, generally important to the industry, and that's focused on youth. So when you hear Jim Gallagher talking about the very robust future that may lay ahead for our industry and some of the big energy industries in North America, obviously it's going to take a lot of good folks to do that. So you may have noticed some of us are wearing the CII Next Generation Leaders pin. So we have our own initiative, Youth Outreach, Next Generation Leaders, that you'll hear from over the next couple of days or so. It's a wonderful organization of young professionals from owners, contractors, suppliers that are kind of setting their agenda and making their mark at CII, and importantly, helping us understand what they need and what they want in this business to be successful. So to that end, our next presentation will highlight the area of youth outreach as well. The ACE Mentoring Program, founded in 1994, mission is to engage, excite, and enlighten high school students to pursue careers in architecture, construction, and engineering. I think many of us have heard about ACE. Many of our companies participate as mentors. ACE is a great program. The program's been part of a recent several CII conferences and reaches over 8,000 students each year. Today we'll hear from 3 individuals, 2 mentors, and a student on the benefits of being an ACE sponsor company. What's in it for you? So today, joining us is Bryan Burke. Bryan is founder of Millennium Resource Engineering in Frederick, Maryland, and he's been an active mentor with ACE Mentoring Program of Frederick for really 7 of its last years. And Bryan is known as Mr. ACE in Frederick, where he was named a 2012 Exemplary Mentor by ACE. We'll have Christina Nguyen with us. Kristina has been associated with the ACE Mentor Program since 2006. As a senior in high school, she was on the Frederick ACE team that won the ACE CIRT National Design Competition. She graduated from the University of Maryland at College Park in civil engineering, 2013, and currently works for Bechtel as a project controls engineer. And Carol Ritz. Carol is a quality project specialist with Bechtel Construction Operations. She's had a long career with Bechtel herself, 34 years, and is responsible for the ACE Frederick not-for-profit status and board of directors. Carol's also one of ours. She's been active in CII, including serving on Research Team 230, which helped establish the CII best practices concept. She has a BS and MS in business management and marketing. So please help me welcome Bryan, Kristina, and Carol.
Here. We're supposed to have a video going here. Are we going to have that, Michael?
Any questions?
There we go. Good morning. That was a typical ACE session. Looks like a lot of fun, huh? Not exactly building a capital product, but it's a project that we had fun with. And if you look at it, there's a lot of similarities. Do you see those things in there? Front-end planning, we had some estimating, designing, construction, testing, a little retesting and fixing. Those are all CII best practices. We are looking and putting those core fundamentals to these high school students for our industry. It's no secret we talked about our construction industry and how some of the challenges we're faced with. An aging workforce, challenges in getting some skilled workers, attrition in our industry. These are all things that are issues that we're going to address today. Who's going to address those? Who's going to fix those problems and challenges? Who's going to step up to do that? We have to do it, the leaders in this room. We have to do those and fix those problems. I challenge each of you to step up and accept that challenge. It's not difficult. In fact, it's quite rewarding to be out there. Our goal today is to go beyond the nuts and bolts of ACE. If you go to, there are some handouts, there's going to be a little booth over there. You can get all the graphics and all the statistics about ACE and our industry there, but we're not going to talk about that today. We want you to walk away with an understanding and perspective that there is a tangible benefit as a sponsor company you could come away from with ACE. Something for you and your company. With me today, as you heard, is Kristina, and we also have Chris Putman, one of our two colleagues of mine from Bechtel, former ACE students who are now ACE alumni, and they're one of 12 students that we've hired at Bechtel in our offices in Frederick over the last couple years. Also is Bryan Burke, he's our past president, and as you heard, Mr. ACE, he's known in Frederick. And we're going to try to keep this brief. We're going to cover those three things. I guess I have to go to that slide. The effectiveness of an ACE program, how we inspire students to pursue careers in the ACE industries. The ACE experience, Kristina is going to talk about that and her experience with the program. And then Bryan's going to answer that question, what's in it for me? We want you to walk away with the tangible benefits and knowledge of what it is to be an ACE sponsor company. So let's get started. A little story. It was 8 years ago, after a CII conference, that one of my colleagues came back to Frederick, all excited, and said, we're going to fix our problem with getting and recruiting students to our industry. We want to become ACE mentor company. I said, okay, what's it going to take? It really wasn't much. That was July in our CII conference, and by that October, we had an affiliate. We started our program. It was that easy. It was easy because we had our ACE national organization. We had a good guideline for us to work with. We had mentors. We had a good relationship with our school system. And we started with 36 students on our program. So within 3 months, we were up and running with our program. Fast forward 8 years, we've been in our program. We've graduated over 500 students. Instead of 36 students, we're bringing in 100 students a year in our affiliate. We've expanded our technical program. You heard a little bit about Bryan. He's really made it from a 1-year program to a 3-year program. We have a diverse population of students, and we have more than 100 mentors who want to come and share their profession and their enthusiasm with these students. I wanted to share a really brief comment from a student, a former ACE student, who sent me a note just last week. She says, hi, Carol, I can't believe it's been 4 years since I was an ACE. The connections I made during ACE are still helping me today, and I am very glad I was in the program. After I finished my master's this spring from Virginia Tech, I want to get involved in ACE to help other high school students about engineering. Thank you for keeping in touch. That's what it's all about, helping students make those connections. Our image, we're changing our image. Through ACE, we are marketers. Okay, that's my background, but we are marketing. We're selling our industry and what it is and the challenges and the aspirations. What ACE does is bring your experiences and your knowledge and skills and matches that with the students' skills and knowledge that they're learning in the school. They come out and they understand, gee, that's why I need geometry. That's why I need chemistry. That's why I need physics. This is what I can do with what I'm learning. And that's the hands-on approach that we bring, whether it's a catapult or maybe designing a bridge. After a few months, this team here on our screens, they this year went to the CIRT national competition, and they were very proud of their accomplishments. And it was really cool because they got picked up at school in a limo, they get driven down to DC, they have a nice dinner on the Georgetown waterfront. They came in second place this year, and they were very, very proud, and it was very, very fun to watch them and for them that made that connection of the hard work and to their achievements. Flexible program. ACE is flexible for anybody, whether you're in an urban area or rural area, whether you have to meet in a school or in a building like Bechtel's offices or a trailer on a job site or Yankee Stadium where the New York team meets. Isn't that kind of cool? It's very flexible, so any mentor can do, you can set it up for anything you want. Whatever kind of diversity of skills that you want to share with these students, their interests, it's very flexible, and that's the strength of the program. You can do it, whether it's a few mentors or teams of hundreds. Let me leave you with one thought. There's nothing better than seeing someone succeed. You know that when you're talking to them and the light bulb goes off, their eyes get big, they start smiling, and they start telling people, yeah, I get it. And they turn to you and say, okay, what's next? What do I do next? And those are the feelings, and that's what makes it worthwhile. So I want to turn it over to Kristina. She's going to talk about her experiences and share those things with you.
Thank you, Carol. Let me put this down so people can see me. So my name is Christina Nguyen. I've been a part of ACE some way or another for about the past 7 years. A typo on the bio is I actually graduated a year ago in 2012, not 13. But I want to talk to you today about how I went full cycle from a high school mentee all the way to a current employee of one of the companies that mentored me, Bechtel. My decision to apply first came from the questions that I had as a 16-year-old in high school, trying to figure out what am I going to do for the next 60 years in my career. It's a little bit difficult to make that decision without a lot of exposure. My parents always emphasized the importance of education, but they didn't really have any knowledge on what I was interested in. I wanted to create, I wanted to build, I wanted to design, I wanted to be a part of a project that helped the community. So nursing and computers didn't really help that. So the good thing about ACE is that it helped me understand that is engineering what I think it is construction what I think it is this actually what I want to go into, or just what is it? So the good thing about ACE is that they focus on learning, whether it be learning by lecturing or learning by activities. A typical day in the ACE program is that they start off with a professional talking about what they do in their career, how they got there, how they're interested, and just a general story about themselves. After our interests are piqued, or not piqued in some students, you get a catch, we started with a hands-on experience. So for mechanical, we did a few little buildings and structures. For civil, we did a little bit of a pipeline with water. And in this example, you see a tower with straws, tape, and penny loads. What I liked about ACE is that they understand that knowledge is power, and it's not just the information, but it's how you get there as well. And so they would give you a task and not say, build a tower that's 10 feet tall with 10 straws and X amount of tape, or et cetera. But instead, they'll say, build the best tower. Now, what does the best tower mean? I'm pretty sure everyone has a different perspective of what it means. Can it carry the most load? Does it look the best? Is it the tallest of everything? So we got to we got to explore that and be creative and figure out what our solution was and how to get to that. Towards the end of the first year, I was faced with one of my major learning experiences. Imagine that you are on a proposal team or a design team, and you have about 8 people, and then 2 months before your presentation, 2 people drop out, okay? So now you redistribute all the loads, and you figure out who's doing what. Okay, you cover Dan's job, you cover Christy's job. And then let's flash forward to the presentation night. Now 2 more people dropped out. So now you have to just kind of pull together as a team and figure out, okay, so now what are you doing? Now everyone has to figure out their different responsibilities in the last 10 minutes before you have to present on this whole proposal. That's difficult, very difficult, but it's a good learning experience. So despite how nervous I was and how horrible the situation was in and of itself, I would never trade it, because that helped me learn, and it helped me realize that you can't just be siloed into one thing and just focus on your one part. Because if something fails, then everybody has to know in general how that's affecting the entire system. And that's something I learned from that experience. So the second year I came back to the program, I was part of the national competition hosted by the CIRT. And we went away with the national winners for the first time, the Frederick chapter. However, even if we didn't win, I felt like we were already winners. That sounds cliche, but the reason is we put in so much effort into our design, and we put in so much thought, and we were talking with local engineers and everyone and getting kind of their input and having some stage screenings on our presentation. And we really felt like this was a design that was going to help the community. The design was a multimodal transportation hub that was going to also extend a metro rail. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Maryland, but it extended the middle of Maryland around Rockville all the way to the top with Frederick, which was an up-and-coming city at the time. So we were focused on how can we create something or cultivate an idea as high school students and think forward. So how can this help the community in the future? So we created retail jobs so we could bring revenue into the community. We had different sources of transportation, so you didn't just have to rely on cars. We had bicycles, buses, and an innovative aero rail, just for a little bit of wow factor. The design was sustainable, it was environmentally friendly, and for a transportation job, it was well within a budget. At the end of that competition, I went off to engineering school for the next 4 years, pursuing a bachelor's in civil engineering and a minor in project management. So engineering school, as a lot of you may know, is very rigorous and difficult. However, nothing was ever unexpected. Because of ACE, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, but also what was waiting for me at the end. And that was what was really important, is that I knew what I was driving towards. I knew that I wanted to go into this industry, and I knew what it took, so I wasn't going to give up. The addition of ACE and working in team projects really kind of made me zone in and say, what else can I do above my curriculum? What else can I do to make myself better as a future employee and part of this community? So I joined other projects, design projects, figuring out, such as the picture below, which is the concrete canoe project. You design the structural mix and of the concrete canoe, make it float. In addition to that, you race it. So there's a lot of design components, there's teamwork, there's commitments, and we just had to pull together. And of course, there are problems. I can talk to you more about that afterwards. I won't waste Bryan's time. But the point is, if I didn't go to ACE, I feel like I probably would have just gone to school, got good grades like usual, and graduate, which is not enough. You need to be more involved. So I'd like to close with a few, recap of the lessons that were learned. I met a lot of professionals throughout my ACE experience that I never would have met, I think, otherwise. I've met CEOs, I've met vice presidents, I've met exemplary mentors like Bryan and Carol, and they have just helped me throughout the whole career, teaching me about the industry, things I didn't know, teaching new concepts and technology, and most of all, a confirmation about whether or not I wanted to join ACE. I know a lot of students that also joined the program with me that they realized that they did not want to go in. But that's a good thing, because you figure out who wants to and who doesn't. And you don't waste your time as an employer trying to figure that out at the beginning, and then waste your time and money. So it kind of reconfirms and piques that interest before you even reach college. And I'd like to try to just ask everybody, if you haven't already done an ACE program, maybe consider it and think about the benefits, or just join one that's locally, because there's a lot to earn as a community, not as an individual, but like all together. Our industry needs to keep cycling the wisdom and the intelligence throughout every generation, so that we can have this constant cycle. Okay, with that, I'd like to introduce Brian Burke, my mentor for the past 7 years.
Thank you. I just kind of want to wrap it up with 2 points. And one is the image of our construction industry, something that we need to be cognizant about when working with the next generation, millennials, the cloud generation, whatever they call themselves, whatever they are, anyway, just something that we need to be cognizant of. One is our image here. And this worked for me. 2 guys looking at a set of plans on a construction site. That's what inspired me, driving the work of thousands, building a modern monument. That's what inspired me. Maybe that's what inspired you. They've changed a little bit. They've diversified. They no longer use blueprints at Xeroxes. We've got some diversity with the people. These are images that have been taken from some of your websites. But again, it's something to think about in working with this generation. They don't understand that. They've had a computer in their hands since they were 2 years old. So maybe a more appropriate image that portrays the same thing is using BIM technology, using smart technology, whatever, to show them that it's not an antiquated blue lines. I was even on the pyramids, etched in a wall. It's worked for thousands of years, but this generation's a little bit different. You just have to think about it. We have to think about it. What really got us into it was that sense of accomplishment on a project, and that's what we're trying to instill in these young people. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the benefit for you. We've talked about students, how it's benefited a student. We've talked about how it's benefited a company in just giving back to the community and their overall image. But I want to talk about something beyond the altruistic, something that ACE National doesn't exactly put in their webpage or their material. When you're about to hire a new grad, every company has a process. HR will tell you that, you have to reach critical dimensions and blah, 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 blah. But the process is you got a stack of resumes this big and you want to get them this big. So I always wish that there was some way that we could have pre-qualified candidates to shorten that list. And I found that in ACE. ACE, for the investment that I put into it, when I find somebody's resume that has ACE in it, I know that they know about our industry. They're not coming into it blind. They have a true vision of what we are and what we want to achieve. And typically, a lot of the ACE students have gone to internships, different experiences, and they're known quantities. When you hire them, there's somebody with 2 years experience instead of 0 years of experience as a new grad. So it's a great benefit. The time commitment, again, to your community, we have 15 sessions, 2 hours apiece. So that's 30 hours. You're not necessarily in all of them, but that's about 30 minutes a week. It's not too bad to whittle that list down to something manageable. We're going to be here. We're going to be in the back corner. There's members from ACE National. We're also here. We also have a lunch for people that have been ACE mentors. So I just wanted to thank you for your time.